Hi everyone. Thanks for joining again to our second KuCoin Fireside Chat today. This is Tim, the host for today's KuCoin Fireside Chat, and we have Nikhil, who is a co-founder of pSTAKE Finance. So I'd like to just give you a warm welcome, and just want to remind you that if the pSTAKE Finance account can also join us as a speaker, and we can keep it muted, it'd be very helpful to the fireside chat. So let's just get started in the meantime. Can you hear me clearly, Mikhail?
Yeah, I can.
Perfect. Let's just start with just an introduction to your background and why you decided to co-found or start pSTAKE Finance.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, very happy to be here. Doing, I've been. I think KuCoin is a very important part of the industry that we operate in. So very excited to be here talk about pSTAKE. So I started pSTAKE in 2020. We were I met my co-founder in 2019 at a conference in Bangalore in India, and we were very much enshrined into the Cosmos ecosystem at the time. So prior to Cosmos being a thing, where PS chains were not very prevalent at the time. There was just two PS chain. One was Cosmos Hub itself, and the other one was Tezos. Uh, Both of which were relatively new. Proof of stake as a concept had existed for a while, but didn't really have any traction. We used to talk about the ETH merge a lot, but nothing had happened. The ETH merge was kind of like this thing where everyone, you would say, yeah, it's gonna happen next year, or it's gonna happen next year. So it never really, you know, it was never really a thing. Uh, that POS was gonna be big, but we saw an early opportunity into POS, and I come from a background of engineering. My co-founder came from a background of finance. He was a VC in crypto. He worked for Golden Gate Ventures, the crypto arm of Golden Gate Ventures called Lunex, where he used to deploy capital into crypto companies. I came from an engineering background. I was mostly on the development side of things. I was more um, enshrined on the product side. So I really love building products, and staking was something that was unique, very enjoyable. We both of us come from India, which is a very cash flow heavy country, right? Like if you grow up in India or any part of Asia, actually, you think in terms of cash flows every month, and that's how you're kind of brought up. So staking was that unique opportunity in early 2020. The Cosmos Hub had commissioned a working group that would work on a liquid staking. It was called a liquid staking working group. This was led by Chorus One, and there were other participants in this group. One of which was P2P, which went on to found Lido. The other one was us, and we started building on Atom liquid staking in late 2020. So we were the first Atom liquid staking protocol to go live. This was pre-Cosmos having anything. There was no DEX in Cosmos, no Osmosis, no DeFi, no IBC even. So we built a very unique product in 2021, which we launched, and the product scaled decently well, but hit its cap after Terra collapsed, and then we built a newer version of the product. So we've been doing liquid staking for a long enough time before it was cool to do liquid staking. We've done a bunch of things in between. So we've done liquid staking for other assets as well, like BNB. After Binance Labs made an investment, we built liquid staking for BNB. We did liquid staking for DYDX, Osmo, and some other Cosmos-based assets. But right now, our focus is entirely towards building for Bitcoin, because what we've learned, and we've learned a lot of things, which obviously we'll go into, so I'll keep this short. But what we've learned is liquid staking, you don't have, it has nothing to do with the tech, it has nothing to do with the chain. The only thing that matters with liquid staking is the demand for the underlying asset. And there is no more demand, there is no demand, there is no asset that has more demand than BTC. So that's kind of why we are building for Bitcoin, and we're building liquid staking for Bitcoin.
For those who are, not as familiar or relatively newer to the space, can you just briefly describe what liquid staking even is?
Yeah, very good question. I think liquid staking in its simplest form. So to understand liquid staking, you would have to understand staking. Staking is a very simple concept. It is a concept that is mostly used along proof of stake blockchains. So proof of stake blockchains, what they require is There are validators who produce blocks and verify blocks or the transactions within blocks. So a blockchain is formed by multiple blocks. Each block has a bunch of transactions. But who is adding transactions to the block? So if I create a transaction to send some assets to somebody, this transaction needs to be a part of a block. And that block needs to be on the blockchain for that transaction to process and be stored immutably, on the blockchain for a long time. So the people who propose these blocks are validators, but validators need to, who can be a validator? Anybody can be a validator as long as you know how to run the tech for it, or you need to have some assets at stake, because you cannot just be a random nobody and have nothing at stake, and just say, okay, I'm going to produce blocks. You won't get the opportunity to produce blocks. So who gets the opportunity to produce blocks is somebody who brings in some stake at the table, which is usually in the form of the native asset. So in terms of Cosmos, let's say, you have to stake your atoms, or in terms of ETH, in the Ethereum blockchain, it's ETH. You have to stake your ETH to participate in network consensus or to be able to produce blocks, sign blocks. But when you produce blocks or sign blocks, you return, you get some yield in return, which is the staking yield. So, but the problem with staking is when you stake your assets, it gets locked up. You cannot access it immediately. If tomorrow ETH is running up like 100%, and you're like, oh, I want to sell my ETH, but you staked it, then you'll have to wait in the unstaking queue. There's going to be an unstaking period which is dynamic for ETH. For the case of Cosmos, it's a 21-day unbonding period. So that is a problem because you don't have liquidity. Also because you're just earning some staking rewards and not your capital is not being used very efficiently. That's where liquid staking comes in. So you go through a liquid staking provider like pSTAKE. You deposit your assets into pSTAKE. pSTAKE will issue you an LST, which is a liquid stake token. So in the past, we used to issue STK Atom or STK BNB. So you could deposit BNB Atom and get STK Atom, STK BNB, and you could use that in DeFi while the underlying BNB and Atom that you deposited into pSTAKE was staked to earn some staking rewards. So if tomorrow BNB went up by 50%, you could just swap your STK BNB for USDC or USDT on a DEX. That's the base level principle of what liquid staking was supposed to solve, which is to give you liquidity on your staked assets and allow you to earn additional yield or collateralize your LST to borrow against, to do different things. That's staking, liquid staking in a nutshell.
Yeah, great. I think Nikhil, you nailed that on the head. So for those listening who are not too familiar with this concept, I think definitely go and replay that if you missed or you just joined. I think that was a great synopsis or summary of what the difference is between both the concepts of staking as well as liquid staking. So moving on, Nikhil, I heard a lot about Babylon. Can you explain what that is? Is it similar to EigenLayer? And sort of explain the differences.
Yeah, absolutely, very very good question. I think so. Maybe it's a very good question. Is it similar to EigenLayer? The answer is yes and no, and that's the tricky bit. So I'll probably try to like go into details as much as possible so as to not speak very high level. But so far the Bitcoin network has been a proof of work blockchain. It's not a proof of stake chain. So when we talked about Atom, BNB chain, we talked about Ethereum, these are all proof of stake chains, which means when you want to participate in network consensus or block production and earn some yields, you can earn some yields by staking your assets. With BTC, you can't do that. There is no way you can stake your Bitcoin. What? Because Bitcoin is a proof of work chain. There's this concept of mining that is involved there, where miners need to bring some hash rate on the table, where they need to have like physical infrastructure to mine Bitcoin. You don't need to stake your BTC. But what Babylon introduces is this unique concept of staking your Bitcoin, and that is for a very different purpose compared to what you would see on proof of stake chains. So EigenLayer made interchain staking or securing other blockchains a thing using another asset. So up until now, you only saw if you're on the Ethereum blockchain, you want to secure the Ethereum blockchain, you would have to stake your ETH to secure the Ethereum blockchain. If you were staking your Atom to secure the Cosmos hub, you're only securing the Cosmos hub. But then there was this concept of shared security, interchain security that has existed for a very long time, by the way. I think shared security was first pioneered by Polkadot back in like 2018, 2019, if I'm not wrong. And that concept allowed you to use an asset from one blockchain to secure another blockchain. And that is where things get interesting. So this is where EigenLayer comes in, right? EigenLayer allows people to restake their staked ETH to secure other services, other chains, other applications. And that is very much what Babylon does, but with Bitcoin. So today there is no native staking on Bitcoin, which means there is no yield at all on Bitcoin, right? Like you cannot generate any risk-free rate or risk-free yield on Bitcoin. While on some blockchains there is obviously some level of risk, but you can say that there is some risk-free rate, risk-free yield on these blockchains because of the fact that they are proof of stake blockchains. So with Babylon, you can bring your Bitcoin and stake it from your own wallet in a trustless manner where your Bitcoin never leaves your wallet. Excuse me. And you can, earn some staking rewards. What happens in the background is the BTC that you staked is not staked to secure the Bitcoin network, but to secure some other blockchains that may need that economic security. And these are some complicated terms here. Economic security, all it means is security. Blockchains need, when you stake your assets, what's at risk? It's something of economic value, right? So when you stake ETH to secure Ethereum, you have some economic value that is put at risk, which is the dollar value of your ETH. So it's the same thing. People just like to complicate things in this industry and call it like something more than what it is. But yeah, that's a little bit about Babylon. It is somewhat similar in terms of with respect to EigenLayer, because it allows you to use your BTC to secure other blockchains, but it's also staking. It's not restaking. Restaking is using an already staked asset to secure another blockchain. Here, this is the first layer of staking, which means so far there was no concept of Bitcoin staking. So that is very, very unique and innovative that Babylon has come up with.
Got it. And Babylon is not live yet, correct?
Not yet, correct.
Yeah. So given that it's not live, I think perhaps could you also share some of the recent announcements that you guys or launches that you guys have made?
Absolutely. So pSTAKE went live yesterday with BTC staking. What it means is it does not mean that the Bitcoin that users deposit is going to be staked on Babylon just yet, because Babylon isn't live. Users can deposit BTC into pSTAKE, and pSTAKE will hold it to stake it with Babylon the moment Babylon goes live. So we anticipate there's going to be a lot of demand for people to stake Bitcoin with Babylon. And if we learn anything from EigenLayer's launch, which was done in a capped manner, where you could only stake up to a certain amount of Ether or stake ETH with EigenLayer in the beginning. So the expectation, and this is speculative, right? This is not, in fact, a fact yet. The Babylon team is the only team that can confirm this, but we expect Babylon to launch with a cap as well, where they would cap the number of BTC that can be staked from the first moment when Babylon goes live. So for us, it's important to be out there before anybody else is out there, which means if you wanna be able to stake with Babylon the moment the product goes live, one way to do that would be through a liquid staking protocol like pSTAKE, where you already deposit your BTC and expect pSTAKE to be able to stake with Babylon the moment Babylon goes live. So we do expect Babylon to go live in the near future, in the next, again speculative, in the next month or so. Probably lesser, probably slightly more. And pSTAKE went live in anticipation of that Babylon launch, where we expect it to go live. So we want to be able to have some Bitcoin deposited into the pSTAKE protocol and then stake it with Babylon the moment it goes live.
Awesome. So within this sector, right? We've seen a ton of new projects build on Bitcoin. It's becoming extremely sort of resurgence of new projects on Bitcoin has been extremely popular recently. How do you guys differentiate from other competitors trying to do similar things?
Great question. I think this is probably down to a few things. One is product differentiation, the other is go to market differentiation, and the other would be differentiation in the quality of the team and the background and everything. So maybe starting off with product differentiation. So like I said, so Babylon is going to be a Cosmos based chain, uh, which obviously not many people are familiar with, because Cosmos has a bad rep. So most projects don't want to talk about Cosmos, but Babylon, I think, has still sent out enough comms around, communications around them being a Cosmos SDK chain, which means, and their go-to market is also highly dependent on Cosmos chains, which means when you stake your BTC, where does the yield come from, right? You're earning some staking yield. it comes from a part of the staking yield of some Cosmos chains, which Babylon's BTC is going to secure. So once you stake your BTC with Babylon, that BTC is going to secure some Cosmos chains to begin with, including the Cosmos hub itself, some other chains, could be Osmosis, Lorenzo, any chain, Akash. There's so many chains in Cosmos. I'm just speculating here. The only one that I know based on public information is Cosmos hub itself, because there's been enough discussions that have happened on the Cosmos hub forum around this. So that's like, Babylon's go-to-market. The good thing is we come from a background of Cosmos as well. I've personally spent the last 5 years building in Cosmos. pSTAKE was the first Atom LSD. So what it allows for us to do is have a very, very strong understanding of the tech that they've built and build our solutions in a way that can be very unique. So for example, right, like how does this make sense? Let me try to make it sense for you. So if you stake your BTC today with Babylon and assume there's 5 different AVSs or 5 different security consumers of BTC, all of these are gonna provide yield to BTC stakers in different tokens, in Atom, in potentially Osmo, AKT, whatever, XPRT, 5, 10 different tokens. As an end user, you don't know what to do with these tokens, how to compound your BTC. What we do is we step in here and we built a very unique solution which allowed us to swap these assets for the base asset itself. So you can swap Atom, Osmo, DYDX, XPRT, all these different tokens into BTC and stake it on behalf of the user again, thus auto compounding the yield. So that's one way to put it, like, in terms of product differentiation. We also have like an automated way of delegating people's BTC to different finality providers on Babylon. Finality providers are essentially validators or people running software to receive Bitcoin stake. So similar to staking your Atom with a validator, you stake your BTC with a finality provider on Babylon. So how do you select those finality providers? You don't have to worry about that. That's where we come in, because we have the expertise to know what it takes to run a finality provider or a validator within the Cosmos ecosystem. And we automatically redelegate, manage your delegations, manage your positions based on the quality of performance of these finality providers, all on chain. So it's all transparent. So that's another unique value proposition. On the product side, go to market, obviously what we've learned from our past mistakes, we've brought it here. Atom as an asset did not have enough demand to have enough demand for liquid staking. BNB similar, BNB has quite a lot of demand, but there's just not been enough demand for liquid staking for that asset. So we learned a lot of things. What we are bringing to the table is all those learnings and trying to launch the product in a way which caters to people. So right now, if you look at it, we launched the beta mainnet yesterday, which only allows for people to deposit their BTC. Why? Because we want to be in a position where once Babylon goes live, we want to expect the unexpected, which is if Babylon goes live and there's no chance for, it's going to be a rush for people to deposit. You want to be in the first Bitcoin block. How do you make that happen? So small details that we've thought of on the go-to-market side. And then when the issuance of YBTC, which is the LST for pSTAKE's Bitcoin token, goes live, where do we take it? Which chains should YBTC exist on? We figured those things out, and as we proceed, we'll start sharing more and more information. The last is team, which I think is the most important team of the community, as I would say, is the most important thing. Nothing else really matters in this industry. So we've been building, for 5 years. There's always opportunity for you to do something new, something different. But for us, it's about, sticking to what we believe in. And we've always believed in staking, very early to staking, very early to liquid staking, very early to Bitcoin staking. And what we want to do now is get that product market fit. So, we've kind of, as a team, pSTAKE is like what the core contributors, about 25 people in the team, fully global, fully remote, and our objective is very simple. We want to be the largest Bitcoin staking, liquid staking platform. So I think that is the last differentiator, I would say.
Amazing. I want to share this a little bit about the pSTAKE token. Can you share some more insight into how that really plays a role into the entire ecosystem that you guys are building out there?
Absolutely. So far, there was no staking for pSTAKE. pSTAKE as an asset cannot be staked, although you can use pSTAKE to participate in governance. When I say participate in governance, these are very standard norms within the industry where you use the token to define certain parameters like fees. How much fees should a protocol charge? How much, how do you delegate your assets across different finality providers? What kind of strategies do you run? Which are the AVSs that the protocol needs to secure? And I think those are very, very important parts of the conversation, right? So pSTAKE, the token, is a governance token. It's an ERC20 token, which allows people to participate in all these discussions that lead to the growth and or the failure of a protocol, right? So that's the pSTAKE token today. What we are working on, and this is obviously subject to pSTAKE governance approving this, is a staking contract for pSTAKE where people can stake their pSTAKE tokens to then do a lot more than what you see with an off-chain governance process that pSTAKE has. pSTAKE's governance process is off-chain. Why I say that is because it uses snapshot where it just looks at balances on for how many pSTAKE tokens do you hold, and you can participate in voting. But after the voting is done, whatever happens is not automated. How can we automate all of that so that the protocol is more decentralized and serves a bigger purpose? So that would be a very interesting thing that would be coming for the pSTAKE token next. Once we this would obviously all come after the BTC liquid staking product is fully live on mainnet, not just in beta mainnet, but it's live with the phase 2 of pSTAKE. So pSTAKE will also launch with multiple deposit caps. The first one obviously was 50 BTC. The next one is going to be much bigger, and that's going to be phase 2. So once phase 2 is live, after that we'll start introducing improvements to the pSTAKE token contracts and pSTAKE staking contracts. All those things will start coming into play. Yeah.
Got it. And Mikhail, just one last question before we wrap the space up. I want to know more about what's coming next for pSTAKE in terms of, both Bitcoin liquid staking or any other unique features or new versions that you guys are going to launch.
Very good question, sir. So I think there was a big, I'm not sure if it was me who tweeted it or the pSTAKE handle itself, where we talk about the roadmap. It's a very detailed roadmap where we go into specifics of what's coming next for pSTAKE after the V1 is live, which is, let's say the beta mainnet. And it talks about a few things. What is super interesting to me, okay? Uh, Everybody could get excited by different things. I get excited about something that is super simplistic. What I've learned is the simpler the things are, the better they are. So for me, the most interesting thing is the launch of something that we call as managed self-staking solution, where right now how liquid staking protocols within the Bitcoin ecosystem they work is they use MPCs or some form of threshold signature signing schemes. Now, what do I mean by this? Again, a complex term. To simplify, you have to trust somebody. Uh, it could be multiple people. It could be generally in the Ethereum world, we have smart contracts. So you don't have to trust any human, but you have to trust the contract in which the assets are custodied or held. So that's why it becomes kind of non-custodial, where only you can access the assets that you deposit into the protocol. That does not exist on Bitcoin today. The tech for that is not there yet. With the introduction of BitVM, OPCAT, OpCat, we should start seeing those developments happen. But in today's context, if you want to liquid stake your BTC, you would have to transfer it out into a protocol like pSTAKE that has an MPC wallet, which means a 2x3 signing wallet where two entities would have to sign for you to withdraw your BTC, for example, or to stake your BTC that you deposit into the liquid staking protocol. Not ideal, but it's a decent place to start with. You cannot wait for the tech to be ready and then do anything. You have to start somewhere, and once the tech starts developing, you want to keep track with it. So the way we work, we have this LST product right live right now, which allows people to deposit their BTC into this MPC wallet. But what I really believe in is for people not to give up custody of the Bitcoin. It's your Bitcoin, you keep it. Why do you want why would you want somebody else to custody it for you? So up until the time where pSTAKE reaches the stage where we can actually decentralize the infrastructure entirely and not have any reliance on MPCs or threshold signature signing schemes, we're introducing this very unique product called managed self-staking, which allows you to stake your Bitcoin from your own wallet with Babylon, but using the APIs that we create so that you don't have to worry about which finality provider to stake with, and managing all those rewards that we talked about that came in 5 different tokens. Now, if you're purely a Bitcoin holder sitting, in a family office who has zero clue about Cosmos chains and Cosmos DeFi and a DEX in Cosmos, you don't know what you have to do with, with these 5 different tokens that you've earned. Where do you even sell it? We take away all those complexities. So your principal is fully protected from pSTAKE risk. It still has some Babylon risk, but Babylon allows you to keep your BTC in your own wallet. So you never give out your BTC to anybody else. And that is a very unique product, and that is something that I'm the most excited about. This product is expected to go live in the first week of September. I have Rajesh from the product team who's listening to me say first week of September. He's pushed back on the timelines, but we are gonna push for September, early September, and yeah, that is something that I think is going to be a game changer in the Bitcoin staking world, because so far it's all about liquid staking, liquid staking, liquid staking. But what if users don't want liquidity? They just want security of staking and earn those yields. So that's why I keep saying pSTAKE. We've so far branded ourselves as a liquid staking product. But for me, it's about Bitcoin staking and liquid staking. It depends on what you prefer. If you prefer liquidity, you would have to deposit your BTC into pSTAKE, which means you don't have you have some trust assumptions that you have to rely on. But if you care only about security and still want to earn some yields, do self-staking. You won't have liquidity because you'd have to unbond your BTC when you want to withdraw it, and there will be a delay period. But at least you're fully principal protected from a third party risk. And other than that, everything else that we'll do, is always exciting, and there are so many things that we have to do. But this would be the most interesting thing for me personally.
Amazing, Mikhail. Really appreciate you taking the time to come on and sharing all those insights and amazing things you guys are doing at pSTAKE. I'd just like to remind everyone that this is not financial advice. And Mikhail, the final word is yours. If you have any other things you'd like to share, or tell people where to find out more information or join the community, now's a great time.
Yeah, I think most of the information people could find on our Twitter, pSTAKE Finance, which is a co-host for the space. I tweet out quite often as well. I'm always available on Telegram or Twitter DMs. My DMs are open. You can reach out to me on Telegram. My Telegram is the same as my Twitter handle. And lastly, I would say I think Bitcoin staking is a huge innovation. I think after DeFi in 2019, 2020 DeFi summer, this is probably the most exciting thing that I've seen. We've seen so many things launch, over the last few roll-ups. We've seen EigenLayer, we've seen restaking as a concept, get more traction. But for me, I think Bitcoin staking is really game changing, because it allows for the first time for you to generate on-chain transparent yields on Bitcoin. So far, the only way in which you could earn, let's say, 3 to 5% on your Bitcoin was if you lent it out with a custodian or a third party player, and somebody like FTX, somebody like Celsius, BlockFi, and you don't know what's happening with your Bitcoin in the background. Today, with Babylon going live very soon, hopefully, you would have like on-chain yields on Bitcoin in a trustless manner where your Bitcoin is still under your control. And that is the most exciting thing, because nobody cares about, at least not, there's 180 people on this on this Twitter space right now. We care about yields from different assets like ETH, Sol, Atom, but the rest of the world probably does not. I was in Nashville listening to Trump speak about Bitcoin, and I can see the world is getting Bitcoin built. The world believes in Bitcoin a lot more today than it used to in the past. But these people don't know about any of these other assets that exist. They care about Bitcoin, and they care about what they can do with their Bitcoin. So the fact that we can give people this opportunity to generate yields through pSTAKE, and manage their positions in a way which helps them, which makes their lives better, I think is unique, and I am here to build for it for the next multiple years, if not decades. So very excited about that, and looking forward to launching more and more things around Bitcoin staking, liquid staking.
Awesome. Thanks again, Nikhil, and hope you guys have an amazing day. Would love to have you back on in the near future to discuss all the updates that you guys have made. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Thanks, everyone.